Good evening and welcome to Main Street Sports. Ray Halbrook here with Livestream STL. Hope everybody's having a wonderful afternoon, early evening here. A little rainy outside, but spring is right around the corner, and we are here to cover our baseball preview. We're real happy to be able to have coaches Dan Oliver, Kevin Lucas, Matt Beesting, and Jeff Ketcherside all in the house here tonight, and I also have our good friend Jeff Whitener. Jeff, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm fine. I'm reporting to you live from Blue Tiger Media World Headquarters.
There you go. Getting better every day, right, Jeff?
Yes, sir.
I like
Ready for some baseball. I promise everybody watching, I promise our coaches it will stop raining soon. We will actually get out and have more than just a couple of days at a time on the field, with the tarps off and all that good stuff. So we very excited to talk about baseball today with these guys, Ray.
Absolutely. Well, I'm just going to turn it over to you because you're the question master, and I'm just going to press some buttons here, and you just take it away.
Well, normally, folks, when we do our previews for our season, regardless of the high school sport, we always like to get together with the coaches and kind of briefly recap last season. However, this situation is unique for our spring sport coaches in the fact that we didn't have a season last year. So there's a lot of unknowns going into this year. I want to start off talking about seniors that we lost last year that basically got cheated out of their senior season. And I know for Coach Oliver, he's been probably itching now for a year and a half, almost 2 years, trying to get ready here to coach some baseball. I want to start off with the St. Pius Lancers. From what I understand, Coach, you lost only one senior to graduation last year. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was Jason Piesold. Jason was probably going to be second baseman, pitch for us, top of the order guy, and ended up he got a scholarship over to McKendree, so I'm hoping he's doing well over there. And we could definitely have used him again, but he's off to college, and great kid. We only got to be around him for a couple of weeks, but he was going to be fun.
Well, fortunately, like you said, he was able to get on over at McKendree over there, and I hope he's doing well. Now, this year's roster, you've got you're a more senior-heavy team, I'm going to go through some names here and correct me if there's any additions or deletions. You've got Michael Bollinger, you've got Axel Creed, Grant Engelskin, Drew Held, Chase Marnin, and Xander Parson. Is that correct?
Yeah, actually, Axel's didn't play. His little brother Roland's playing this year, but he's only a sophomore. But yeah, those other guys are all out there and doing a good job.
Excellent. Good to hear. Shifting over to Coach Lucas and the Hillsboro Hawks. Coach, if I'm reading things correctly, you lost 8 seniors to graduation last year. Is that correct?
Yeah, we had a pretty big group of seniors last year.
That's a shame that the way things worked out or didn't work out for those guys. This year I have your seniors on your roster, including Zach Whaley, Micah Cook, Eli Epley, Gabe King, Noah Schumann, and Jace Stewart. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah. That's our. We got a smaller group this year. We'd only have 6 seniors, but they're all going to be counted on with have key roles in our starting lineups. And they've been working hard. So excited this year to these guys get to get a senior season in. Last year, we had a big group of seniors, and we were kind of looking really forward to that season because a lot of those guys from last year were returning, from a district championship team, and so and then COVID hit and things just didn't happen, and so feel bad for those kids, but I know Isaac Hamilton and Warren are over at Swick playing right now. Grant Beck's down at Mineral Area playing this year, and so
Right.
Some of those guys got to go on and play some college, but yeah, this year we've got a smaller group of seniors, but we got some big things planned hopefully.
Well, yeah, and of course some of the guys that you mentioned, and some of the guys I mentioned on the Lancers too, we're also familiar with not only from high school ball, Ray and I, but of course playing in Legion and getting to know several of those kids who graduated last year and several of the seniors this year. Let's move on to Coach Beeston. Coach, I don't have any numbers. Do you know how many you lost to graduation last year?
I believe it was 8 or 9 we lost. We had a pretty large class as well that we lost.
Yeah, I'm sure. Now this year I've got you with Hunter Dill, Levi Fisher, Grant Hurst, Christian Hill, Zach Keck, Bryson Kingsland, Nick Krodinger, and Austin Langston. Oh, also Will Rector and Ethan Sampson. So, is that correct? You got a bunch of seniors.
Yeah, we have a pretty large class. This was, we had our last year was probably our biggest upperclassmen group we had, and then the class that we have coming back now is a pretty good group of kids.
I'm looking at these names on these rosters, Coach, and it's like, regardless of the sport, I don't think there's ever a roster that doesn't have a Kingsland or a Krodinger or maybe a Fisher on it.
Yeah,
I don't know how many
seems
more.
like we've had a Fisher for the last 8 years. It seems like over there, but there's a younger one coming. It's a freshman, so we're going to keep that going for a few more years.
My goodness, it's the family name's of DeSoto, that's for sure. Over to Coach Ketcher's side. Coach, how are you today?
I'm doing fine.
I had you as losing 3 seniors to graduation, including Ethan Mollard, which we were very familiar with, Ray and I, for last year when he played for. Ray, help me out. 283
Rock
up
Memorial.
there.
Rock, you played
Rock
for
Memorial.
Yeah.
Right. This year's rosters features seniors Ryan Lynch, Dawson Milner, Alex Massey, and Gavin Oldham. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the 4 seniors. They were the first group that come in when I took over as head coach. So they're my first actually graduating class as far as it been with me for 4 years now. So
Wow.
They'll have the roles. Some of them will be pitchers only, maybe, or spot starter, stuff like that. So I'll probably maybe end up only starting maybe 1 senior this year.
Just because I mentioned it and because I wasn't able to find out what the status was of Ethan Mollard, is he playing ball somewhere this year?
Well, I thought I had him going down to Mineral Area, going down there to play in a spot down there, but something got messed up with, I don't know, FAFSA or something, and I don't know what happened there. I know he's still working out, looking for a place now. But I haven't had a chance to talk to him on what his plans would be. I was hoping really he would go down to Mineral Area. I think that he'd been a good fit down there for them, but I guess it just didn't work out with. I'm not sure what happened with the family or whatnot, but I don't know.
Right.
I know, like I said, I saw him at school the other day on a football field throwing and working out. So we'll see what he does. Hopefully he'll do something.
Well, I hope so, too, because he was a good ball player, and he can definitely play at the next level. So if any coaches are watching out there, that's someone you'd be very pleased with getting him on your college roster. So wanted to put that plug in there.
I appreciate that.
Since I'm not there, gentlemen, what I'd like to do, and I'll just go left to right as folks are watching, and I've got some general questions for all of you. And as I said, there are so many unknowns going into this season because we didn't get to play last year. So I'll start with to the left here with Coach Oliver. And Coach, how is the overall health of your team right now? How have they looked in the practices you've been able to have so far? And I guess your basketball guys on the team, Marinan and the big man Parson, is everybody healed up and rested from their season?
Yeah, he and Parson, Martin, and Bollinger and Ramey came over from basketball and jumped right in. And last year at this time we had a couple of injuries, but right now we're pretty good. It's kind of hard to get hurt in a mud puddle, but we've been making it through, so I guess we'll be all right.
Hard to get hurt in a mud puddle. I love that. How about you, Coach Lucas? How are things looking for the Hawks right now, health-wise?
Right now, everything's looking good. We've just got some sore arms right now. We had our jamboree on Tuesday, so we were to play 8 innings, and we threw one pitcher each inning, and so got some guys with some sore arms. We just got to get them kind of back in shape. But other than that, yeah, everybody's good. Basketball players were all there the first day, which is the first time that's ever happened for me. And so I'm hope Coach Johnson's not watching this. He probably wouldn't like me saying that, but that was the first time for us. And I don't think it's going to be happening very often for us. But and so we've had everybody there the whole time. And so, but, yeah, everybody's healthy, ready to go now.
Excellent. Good to hear. And how are things down DeSoto way, Coach Beasting, as far as there's health and all that?
Yeah, I think we're in pretty good shape. We've kind of gone through that sore arm phase with some of our pitchers. We kind of went heavy on them early just to kind of push them through it because we kind of knew that eventually this weather would show up and we'd be stuck inside. But I think we're in pretty good shape and ready to go.
So it's kind of a good thing for a lot of you guys right now with these arms that they get a little rest here after starting off and like you said, pushing them a little bit. That the rain might be a blessing in disguise right now, Coach?
Yeah, I think so. We kind of last couple of days we've had to force ourselves to get outside and just try to find a dry patch somewhere just to play catch because we've had a couple of days of no throwing other than in a gym, and that doesn't replicate what we need. But we should be in a good place to go, and we start tomorrow. So.
Excellent. Well, how high is the water over in your neck of the woods, Coach Countryside? How's your team looking?
Well, we're good. I don't know. Last time I was up at the field, we had some standing water at third and first, so we're not quite there where we need to be. But we were lucky to be on it for the first week, and then the rain hit. So luckily we have a turf football field, so we get to be on that and in the gym, and we do have an indoor cage, so we get to use that. We got to share with the softball, but that's not a problem. Coaches work really good together as far as softball, track, and me. Health-wise, Chase Wilson had a little setback at the beginning of the year. Thought maybe he might have re-injured his spleen that he had the problem with in the basketball season, but went to the doctor. Doctor told him it wasn't swollen or anything, so he kind of took it easy for a day or two. And then now he's right back in it, going hard, just like Chase always does. I mean, the hard part is pulling the reins back on him a little bit when I have to. So, but now he's doing good. They're all throwing bullpens. The pitch count's not where I'd like to be on the bullpens, but he threw last one. He threw a pretty good bullpen about 3 days ago, and he was going to throw another one today, and I had to cut it short in practice, so we didn't get to do it today. So he'll throw another bullpen tomorrow and with some other ones. So we got some little minor stuff with the younger players, the arms, just because they don't play enough and they don't throw enough. So they're just kind of feeling the ground on how they got to do with their arms. So just little stuff like that, nothing big.
Sure. Well, I'm glad to hear Chase Wilson's back at it. He's one of the better athletes in this county, and he's going to be fun to watch this baseball season. He was, very exciting to watch during basketball season, and he was one of our standout players, Main Street Sports standout players. So I'm glad you mentioned him. I'm hoping to see him in action real soon there. Coach Oliver, obviously, you have to be chomping at the bit. You came in 2 seasons ago as the head football coach and was set to be the head baseball coach, and you've got Eddie Marino and your assistants back there behind Ray, probably mugging for the camera. They're trying to crack you up, but what's it been like for you having to wait this long to get cracking on the baseball field?
Well, last year, same as everybody else, but this year, just making it to Monday was kind of an accomplishment, I guess. We made it further than we did last year, but now we're past it. Looks like we're going to get to play, and now the rain. So we're just just keep pushing it back. We're back to our start day is Saturday now, and I think our boys are pretty anxious to get going, and like we all are, and I think kind of return to normalcy and just getting our lives back going and kind of getting back into the things that kind of have been a rite of passage for kids in the past, and now we can't take that for granted anymore.
Sure. Is there, and this question is up for all 4 coaches, but I want to start with Coach Oliver because his situation is a little unique coming in new. Because of the shutdown last year, is there a steeper learning curve for your players this year as far as understanding how you want the game played, how your style of team, style of play is going to be on the field, your philosophy? And is there more emphasis on repetition and fundamentals and drills than usual because of that and because of the layoffs?
Well, I mean, for us, it's we're just trying to implement what we were wanting to do last year. We just didn't get that year in where we'd have some guys that already kind of know the drills, the fundamentals, the things that we want to emphasize in the way we want them to do. But so I don't know. I think it's just kind of like the same every year. You get a new crop of freshmen, you get a new crop of kids, and you have to start over, and can't take for granted that they know anything that they may not know. So it's pretty much, I guess, the way we would normally approach things. Although in my situation, just getting to know the kids last year was probably more difficult than it is this year, having been around the kids in class and football and so forth.
Sure, absolutely. Coach Lucas, are you having to do anything different this year? Is there any kind of steeper learning curve for some of the younger guys because you didn't get to play last year, or is it pretty much the same for you?
Yeah, I think there is a little more of kind of teaching a little more, a little extra, that we probably hadn't had to before, because we got quite a few new guys to the program as far as for varsity level. And so those guys, they hadn't really gotten to see what was expected, for our varsity teams, how we do things. So there's a little more going on than what, we typically do. Last year we had a lot of returners that kind of stepped up and, showed the way. And this year those guys, the seniors and stuff, they're just, they're trying to do the best they can, but it's a small number. And so, so we have to do a little extra teaching, and then plus the fact that there's quite a few kids that didn't get to play anything. They didn't play any summer ball, stuff like that. So
right. They're
kind of trying to catch back up. You can see kind of throughout our whole program, there's just kids that, just missed out on that summer season and, in the spring season last year. And so just trying to catch back up a little bit. But, I like the way the program's going, the way everybody's coming in and working hard, though.
Well, I appreciate that answer. Coach Beesting, have you found the need to do anything different or emphasize anything different so far this spring?
Well, I think we've been fortunate with the number of seniors that we had. They can kind of lead by example, and they've done a really good job of that, to start our year out. But I think the biggest gap we've seen is our sophomores and juniors, because the freshmen that we've had come in, most of them they got to play last summer. So they were kind of ahead of the curve coming in, and it was kind of getting the sophomores and those juniors that have had, most of our juniors hadn't had much varsity experience. So, with our seniors kind of took some guys under their wing and made sure practice, ran the way that we wanted to. And but I think at the same time, we've focused a lot more reps, a lot more ground balls, fly balls. We were fortunate with the weather and able to do that. But I think it took, and even our seniors coming back, it took them 2 or 3 days. On day one, some of our outfielders, a couple of first fly balls, you'd hear them in the outfield, saying, holy cow, it's been that long, and it took them, 3 or 4 days to get things going the way they're used to. But where we're at right now, I think we're in a good spot.
Sure.
And a lot of that had to do with the fortunate first week that we had being able to get outside so much.
Exactly, Coach. And one of the reasons I asked this question of all of you coaches is my experience in Rays last summer, because the guys didn't play the spring, and because they didn't get to play even to start off the summer, we saw some pretty shaky fundamental baseball, whether it was Legion ball or Slava or elsewhere, because these guys just didn't have the reps in. And Coach Ketcherside, have you experienced anything what these gentlemen are talking about so far?
Well, I'm a big rep guy anyway. We spent at Grandview, sometimes we have to do that a lot because I might have experienced kids or kids that they pick up the ball the first day of practice. I've said this, I'm coming in kind of with 2 freshman classes, really, the way I look at it, because the sophomore class didn't get a high school season. And although I have lucky enough to have some sophomores that play DeSoto Legion, play for the Gamers, has played other select ball, they've never played a high school season. So do I think I know what they can do? Yeah, I think I know what they can do. But until they go through a high school season and show me, I really don't know what they can do. And so it's kind of like having, to me, it's 2 freshman classes coming in at once.
That's a pretty good way of putting it, Coach. I appreciate those answers, Guy. And Ray, you'll probably back me up on this when I'd say there were a lot of guys we saw playing summer ball this year that the waistbands of their uniforms might have been a little tighter than normal.
Yeah, I mean, they're a little bit of a learning curve, trying to get back into the swing of things, and we saw that for a couple 3 weeks, pitching, just being able to keep that stamina going and things like that. So, I definitely concur with you on that.
Well, why don't we take a quick break, Ray, and we'll come back and we'll give these guys a chance to take a break and get a sip of something to drink, and we'll be right back here on the Main Street Sports Show on Livestream STL.
Tell us we can't, and we'll prove you wrong. Knock us down, and we'll get right back up. Call us risk takers, misfits, bad boys. But we know what we want, and it feels like American muscle, looks like advanced engineering, and smells like fresh, cut grass. Bad boy, mow with an attitude.
Hi, I'm Lawrence Krodinger with Home by SMCI. Whether it's residential or commercial, we have the right products for you. Global Plasma Solutions will attack your bacteria, mold, viruses, even help dust in your house. They install easily, less than 45 minutes, and it's invaluable for the rest of your life. If you're interested in any of the products that we do offer, give us a call at 636-337-4444 or send us an email at service@homebysmci.com.
I'm about to get teed up.
What? I'm talking to them. I'm not talking to you. Are you kidding me? You're throwing me out of a summer league game? I'm not Riley Blair. I'm not going anywhere. He shoot the free throws. Shoot the cops. Join us. Coach's Box, 7 p.m. live from Las Vegas. Tuesday night. See you there.
Guys, I've always wanted to ask you this since you're both pitchers. What's your favorite pitch? It's a fastball? Okay, I know. It's a curveball. No? Okay, well, what's your favorite pitch?
Oh, yeah. Spitball.
The Main Street Sports Show. You never know what we're going to throw at you.
For fine Mexican cuisine,
a family atmosphere,
any place to watch your local sport teams. Come out to La Pechangas.
check out our 4 locations: Arnold, Herculaneum, Crystal City, and Bonne Terre.
Come out to La Pechanga.
And we are back here for round 2 of Main Street Sports here, our baseball preview edition. And we're going to jump right back in here. Mr. Jeff Whitener, I'm going to let you take it away there, my friend.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Ray. We've talked about the weather and we've talked about the differences this year coming back in from not playing last year. But now I want to kind of get into the nitty-gritty of the teams this year. And I'm going to start with Coach Oliver. And Coach, with the schedule, with your schedule this year being what it is, and there's always unknowns, whether it's weather or COVID shutdowns this year or whatever. But can you name some of the top maybe 2 or 3 guys that you think you'll have in your pitching rotation, and how many guys you're going to maybe project as starters for you on the mound?
Yeah, I mean, right now we're probably throwing probably 6 or 7 guys that we hope can give us some innings. Probably the top 2 or 3 would be probably like Tate Ramey, Drew Merciel, and then probably Xander Parson, and we got a couple other guys, and Nathan Stoll hurt his wrist during basketball, and he's left-handed, so we're hoping that another couple 3 weeks maybe we can get him out and start getting some innings out of him as well. But it's a little deeper group than what I've been told they've had around at Pius in a while. So we're hoping for good things and hope they kind of throw strikes and get us a lead.
Excellent question. And from a schedule standpoint, is that the target you kind of want to have around maybe a half dozen guys that you can put on the mound in a starting situation, Coach?
Well, especially early on. I mean, we're supposed to play this tournament this weekend, and which is getting pushed back a little bit. But I think we got 3 or 4 games already for next week, and then would then play the finals of the tournament next Saturday. So early on, you can never have enough pitching, and probably different times during the year when you start getting rain games pushed in. It's always nice to have somebody that can get up there on the bump and look like they know what they're doing, and you just stand out there watching paint dry just kills everybody. So throw strikes and let's go.
Well, how about you, Coach Lucas? Kind of the same philosophy. You have some guys that you've picked out that could start on the bump for you?
Right now, kind of trying to see who's more comfortable starting, who's more comfortable in relief. Guys that kind of caught our eye the other day in the Jamboree were Gabe King. He's a senior. And then Eli Epley, another senior for us, threw really well. Sophomore Austin Romaine, threw pretty well. Andrew Chavez threw pretty good. Those are all guys I think that just looking at the Jamboree are going to really be counted on. They threw a lot of strikes, but apparently we've got about 12 guys that say they can pitch. So, which is good. I mean, if we play the schedule, if we get to play the schedule that's on paper, we're going to need all those arms. And so, those guys that I just named are kind of the guys that so far have kind of stepped up and are looking the best right now. Ideally, we're going to start to get them all some innings, and then just kind of go from there and try to narrow down who's really going to be able to do the job for us.
Excellent, and I'm certainly familiar with the names that you listed as well from getting to see those guys play a lot. And Coach Beesting, how about you? Do you have pretty much the same philosophy as these guys, or you have a different approach, or who do you have penciled in as maybe starting for you?
Well, right now we're looking at anywhere from 8 to 9 guys that we feel comfortable that can come out and at least give us strikes, and we're trying to figure out probably these first few weeks to see who's going to be our, 3 to 4 guys that we can rely on to start, every 4 or 5 days. Right now, Caleb Coleman, Ethan Sampson are probably 2 of our guys that we're look to start, along with Levi Fisher. Those 3 are probably will for surely be for at least get the first opportunity to start for us. And then we've got Hunter Dill, our second baseman, every day. He can be a spot starter, relief type guy. Nick Krodinger, and then we have a couple of juniors that we may try to mix in there. One, Cody DeClue, who's a left-hander. And we have a couple other guys I think can come in and throw strikes. And, again, like a lot of these guys have said, if our schedule plays out, we're going to need that many arms to, piece us through with some 3 and 4 game weeks.
Absolutely, and as the more rain we get, the more compressed everything might be. So, having those extra arms, is definitely going to help. And Coach, catcher side, what's your situation like over there as far as pitching goes?
Well, this is probably the best year I've had as far as guys that I know can pitch. We'll probably go about 8 deep. The main ones are probably top 4 pitchers are going to be, of course, Chase is going to play short and pitch for me. Wilson. Eric O'Brien's a left-hander, played select in the city. Trenton Cookerly's a sophomore, he plays for the Gamers. Levi Lalonde, he plays for DeSoto Legion, and he's a sophomore, along with Jace Poole. He's a sophomore, playing for the DeSoto Legion. And then I have about 3 seniors who, don't have a lot of experience as far as pitching in a high, I guess what you say, game type situations, but they've been throwing really good bullpens. They've gotten a lot of innings, a little bit, last 4 years, just here and there. So they're ones that could eat up some innings for me if I need somebody to come in relief or spot start, do that. And then I also have a couple freshmen who I don't really want to. I'm lucky. I got to use freshmen on the mound as varsity, but I'm probably going to be lucky where I can bring them along slowly, where I don't have to throw them into the fire per se right off the bat. So I've been lucky this year so far, and all arms are healthy. So we'll see how the season goes. You know how that goes. I mean, anything can happen, pop up that out of the blue that you don't really expect. But
well, I'm knocking on wood for all 4 of you right now that things will go well and everybody will stay healthy there. Switching it back, throwing it back over around the horn to Coach Oliver here. A two-part question. What do you feel the strengths of your team will be this year? And are there some guys, maybe some underclassmen, some up-and-coming players that might be poised to have a breakout season for you?
Well, I think I think we have pretty good team speed, so that's exciting. Maybe manufacture a couple of runs here and there when we get a chance. I think we have some pitching depth. And we're excited to see if what we're seeing in the in the practice field and the gym kind of transfers out to the field. As far as younger guys that we hope to have a breakout, we've got a bunch of juniors that'll be playing a lot, and then Austin Almany had a great summer catching for us, and he's I thought he was going to have a great year last year, and then everything got shut down, but he's back. He's a junior. And, real excited about what he does back there behind the plate. And then, just kind of going up the middle, if you're strong up the middle, usually you have a pretty good team. So Drew Merciel is a sophomore that's going to start at shortstop, but he's also one of our top pitchers. So, we're excited about him. When Colin Brown will be playing second base, and when Drew's pitching, we'll slip him into shortstop. And then junior Nathan Schwer right up the middle. Has got a lot of speed and has really covered the ground a lot last year, what little we got to do, and we're looking forward to what he can do this year. A young man, a freshman, Xander Street, will probably get some pitching opportunities and maybe play first base some when Xander Parson is pitching. So, we've got a little versatility, so we're hoping that what we're seeing so far pans out over the season. But I guess that's probably the story for everybody.
That's very interesting in the fact that I've never heard of a team of any sport that had 2 guys named Xander on it before.
Yeah, really, really.
That's pretty wild. That's Coach Lucas. Obviously, you've had a lot of success in the large school area, and we see your teams pretty well-rounded in their abilities. But what do you think some of your strengths are going to be this year, and who are some guys that maybe we need to watch out for?
Right now, I'm not sure what our strength's going to be. We're kind of, I would have said hitting up until the Jamboree. We struggled a little bit, but I also expected our hitting to kind of be a little behind. I feel like it usually is to start the season. But, I mean, we got a lot of depth at pitching, so I think that could be one of our strong points. We should have a pretty quick team. Our outfield, we got pretty good athletes in the outfield with Cruz Valencia, Zach Whaley, Gabe King, and then Austin Romaine, all really good athletes. And then on the infield, I mean, we got Noah Schumann going to be at shortstop, and he's committed to Jeffco right now, so we expect some big things out of him. And then just I think our pitching's going to be one of our keys. We'll have to see kind of how they do for us. But as far as younger guys, I mean, we've got one sophomore, and that's Austin Romaine, and I am kind of expecting some big things out of him. We've all seen kind of what he's done on the football field, and and he's a good-sized kid as only a sophomore, and so kind of hoping that he can put something, put a good season together for us, because I mean he comes in and he puts in the work, that's for sure. And then we have Connor Jenkins is another kid that he came up as a sophomore last year, and we were going to have him right in the middle of our lineup, and then COVID hit, and so he didn't get to see high school ball, but he plays for the Gamers, and he put in a lot of innings with the Gamers, and even this fall he was traveling to Florida and doing a lot of working out with with the Gamers, and so he's a kid that I expect to have a pretty decent season this year, and so but yeah, I mean, our pitching, we're just going to have to wait and see kind of what they can do for us.
Ray, are you writing down all these names so we can make notes for later on when we start broadcasting some games?
Hey, they'll send me the presser on it. We'll be in good shape here.
That's right. We'll be the pregame presser. That's excellent. Coach Beasting, how about you've always had a decent team. You've always got some really good pitchers at the top of the rotation. But what's your team look like this year, and who do we need to keep an eye on as far as on the DeSoto roster?
Yeah, I think pitching is going to be one of our better areas. I think, we don't really going to have that one guy that's going to come in and be that strikeout power arm, but I think we could rely on, most anywhere from 6 to maybe even 8 arms to, give us quality starts. And then defensively, I think it's probably going to end up being one of the better defenses that we've had. We have great speed in the outfield with Levi Fisher will be playing center field when he's not pitching, and Caleb Coleman will mix in and right and left. And we have a sophomore, Jacob Foster, who will probably play sometime in left field for us. And then up the middle, we have 2 seniors up the middle and a senior at first base. And then we'll have a young freshman, McAllister kid, who will play third for us, and we'll have a senior behind the plate. So we have the right mix, I think, of old and young, and hopefully if we pitch and play defense, we'll be in most ball games. Offensively, that's kind of the question mark, and it generally is, kind of like Coach Lucas touched on early in the season. Usually pitching kind of takes over when the hitting usually comes around midway through when things start warming up. So if we can, I think as long as we're okay at the plate, we should be in a lot of ball games.
Coach Beasting, you mentioned Levi Fisher a couple of times, and it got me to thinking about, I guess, his older brother who graduated last year. Was I can't remember his first name off the end.
Yeah, it's Briar.
Briar Fisher.
Briar. Okay, and I just wanted to ask, just for my recollection, because Briar got cheated out of his senior season. Is he playing ball anywhere this year?
Yeah, he's down at Three Rivers, so he's pitching down there for them.
Oh, I'm so glad, because at the time when we had him on sort of our standout show after school ended, everything was up in the air. So I'm very glad that he latched on and is getting an opportunity somewhere. That with all of the opportunities, the eligibility right now because of COVID, kids are kind of backed up through the system with these schools, and it's somebody's going to fall through the cracks. And I'm glad that it wasn't him, because he definitely needed an opportunity. So
yeah, we were excited.
Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. I'm glad that he got that opportunity too, because everybody's probably in the same boat. You're just sick to your stomach, because we had a few kids that I think if they would have got that spring season and got into the summer, probably could have got on to play somewhere.
Exactly. That's the more than anybody else. The spring athletes really got the short end of the stick, in my opinion. But Coach Countryside, we know what Chase Wilson can do for you. You mentioned Eric O'Brien, and I've seen him play, and I know he can be a very passionate, feisty player out there. Who else do you have coming up, and what do you think the strengths of your team will be?
Well, I always preach to the boys. I tell them, look around. We don't have any monsters here, so we preach speed, taking the extra base, stealing bases, defense, and hopefully we can pitch well enough, throw strikes, where our defense and our speed can take care of it. Besides Chase, we're going to play short and pitch for us. Eric O'Brien, as you mentioned, he'll play center and pitch. We have another center. They're both juniors. Have another junior in Austin Galloway, our catcher. He caught it his freshman year, and then we have some sophomores. Trenton Cookerly, like I said, he plays for the Gamers. He's a pitcher for the Gamers. He'll pitch, play short, play outfield. Levi Lalonde pitches and plays outfield. He can play short. He can play 30. He's the kind of kid, and Cookerly too can put wherever I want. I mean, he'll play whatever position. Chase Poole he's going to play for DeSoto Legion this year too, and he plays first base for me. Clayton Riddle, who's a football kid, he's a quarterback on the football team, and he plays second base.
Right.
He started playing second base his freshman year, and I'll probably have a freshman, Cody Fox, come in and play for third base for me, and then I'll have some seniors. I got a senior that played football and blew out, had 2 knee surgeries, and didn't play football this year, and he kind of started playing baseball his freshman year, and kind of took some time off, and he come back last year, and he's really done well this year, and been a real good leader for the team. And we got some other seniors that's going to help out, and some juniors too. So I'm really excited about this year. It's kind of the most, I said, for the best from top to bottom that we've had so far from this year since I've been the head coach. So we'll see how it goes, though. I mean, they got to go out and perform. You think you know what, like I said, you think you know what they can do, but until they perform, you don't really know.
Absolutely. And Coach, I'm glad you mentioned the freshman that might play third base for you, because that leads me into my next question for the coaches. And I'm going to go to Coach Beesting, call an audible here, and go back to him next. Coach, do you have any freshmen do you think will be able to crack your starting lineup this year?
Yeah,
or at least get some playing time on varsity?
Yeah, Chase McAllister is going to probably start at third base, for the next while, because we had one of our seniors was coming off an elbow procedure, and he can only throw from second base to first right now. So, but he's done everything. I mean, he's won that spot outright so far, and I told him it's his job to keep it and keep any of the upperclassmen, away from his position. And he's taken a very good approach. He's very mature for a freshman, and handles himself extremely well. He's played a lot of baseball in the city, like some of these other guys have had, but. His mental approach to practice and things like that, you wouldn't think he's a freshman. I think that's a lot of the reason why he's going to get an opportunity.
Excellent. Well, like you said, he's got that experience, and it sounds like that helps. The experience helps with maturity sometimes as well. So looking forward to you guys both have maybe some freshmen at third base this year. Coaches, Coach Lucas, anybody going to be able to get some playing time on the varsity squad that it's a freshman for you?
No, we won't have any freshmen. We'll have just the one sophomore, and then just a bunch of juniors and some seniors. We had 14 freshmen come out. We have a freshman team, and so we had 14 freshmen come out, and there's some good ones there, but I don't quite think they're ready yet for the varsity level for us. And so we're going to keep an eye on them throughout their freshman season and stuff. We have some pretty good sophomores on the JV that that could end up. We possibly, some stuff goes down. We might need to bring them up, but right now we're just kind of letting them play at the JV level, and and then we'll just kind of roll with what we have at the varsity level.
I was going to say, you've got good numbers, and you've got a lot of upperclassmen right now, so I think it'd be hard to crack that lineup for the underclassmen. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too.
Well, Coach Oliver, going back to the small school setup here, usually in small schools there's more of an opportunity for an underclassman to crack the lineup. How about over at St. Pius?
Well, really just a couple kids possibly could get playing time depending on who's pitching. But like I said, Xander Street probably the leading freshman there right now to crack the lineup. James Smith, maybe when Drew's pitching, might play a little shortstop or something like that. But pretty much it's going to be a lot of juniors, and then Merciel being the sophomore that's going to get a lot of playing time.
Sure. That would be interesting to really see how those guys mesh together coming in. That's the small schools to me, guys, the conference it's going to be really kind of up for grabs this year. There's a lot of talented squads out there, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it, as well with the large schools. That I'm going to toss this out here. Guys, this is the typical question that the media asks, that you have to come up usually with some kind of coach speak answer here, because you don't want to give your opponents any kind of bulletin board material. But I'm going to start off with Coach Oliver and ask, Coach, who do you look at as some of your other teams, some of your toughest competitive conference this year?
Well, it's a really tough conference. They were all undefeated last year. So, man, I mean, we got our work cut out for us to get those guys. I don't know.
You were undefeated too.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that great? I hadn't lost a ball game in 2 years. So, I don't know. I mean, I haven't been through it before, so I don't know. But I know, back in the day, when I was at Afton, we had some great games with Herky and I've seen some kids over at Valley. Coach has mentioned a couple of boys that played football for him over at Grandview that, I know are good athletes. So, I would just say, we got to get ready for everybody because, not knowing – and I told our guys that the other day, you got to just, go out there and expect everybody to be the toughest team you're going to play. And if you do that and you get yourself in that mindset and prepared – then we'll be giving our best effort every day, and then at the end of the night, hopefully we come out on top. So,
well, that's a very good coach answer. You've been around long enough to know how to give those good coaches answers like that. Good veteran coach.
A couple times,
Coach Lucas, you're the same as you're sitting right there next to one of your opponents for the season in the DeSoto Dragons, but. If you look around the conference this year, who are you seeing is going to be some of your biggest challenges?
I think they're all going to be tough. This year with the large schools, we're now playing a home and home. So they're scheduled on Thursdays and Fridays of each week. And so I think that's going to be interesting because now you have to kind of have a couple of good pitchers instead of, before I was able to run, Michael Brewer out there and every week in our conference games, and we do pretty well. But now you have to have two pretty good starters, one for each day, and then you still have to be able to get some relievers in there. And I know Coach Beesting's always going to have his players ready to go against Hillsboro. It's Hillsboro DeSoto. That's always a big game. I know Coach Montgomery's always going to have his kids ready. Festus Hillsboro. Those are always, big rivals. And so I think the conference kind of is going to be wide open, especially with playing each other twice. And, now it's going to be 8 games instead of just the 4 games before. Right. And then you never know what's going to happen with rain. If some rain hits, who knows what the schedule is going to look like. So I think it'll be fun. It's going to be interesting to see kind of how everything, kind of pans out. And I think everybody's just excited to get out and start playing again.
And I'm really glad you brought up that scheduling situation this year in the large school. That's going to be very interesting and I think very entertaining as well. And when you look at the schedule and the way it's set up like that, and you look at tournaments, and you look at possibility of facing someone again in district play, you might play a team in your conference many times, during the season this year. So that's going to be fun. And to me, that's always good. It's good for the rivalries, good for the fans, stuff like that. So,
for sure.
Coach Beesting, as you look into your crystal ball there and see some of these other schools, what do you think as far as some of your opponents go and how you're going to match up against them?
Yeah, it's going to be wide open. I think in the last few years we haven't fared very well in the conference, but we've tried to set a record for losing one-run ball games. And I think the last time we played, I think we lost every one by 2-1 and 1-2. So, I mean, we've been in ball games, and it seems like it doesn't matter, what records are once conference season comes around. Everybody's, up for those games, and you're going to get the best arm on the mound against you. And, most of those ball games, they come right down to generally a relief pitcher or something late in the ball game who executes, who doesn't. And I don't think this year will be any different.
Well, I appreciate that answer as well because, you guys all have really good modified veteran coaches' answers to that stupid media question that I'm throwing out there. But Coach Getcherside now, he's been sitting there and he's been listening to all three of you. So Coach Getcherside is probably going to come up with some kind of combination of all those three answers, right, Coach?
Well, I look at it, anytime Grandview goes in the game, we're probably the underdog to start out with. I mean, Coach Coonley's going to have a good team at Jefferson. I mean, with the Ott kid is going to Jeffco, and I think they got a kid by the last name Whitener that's pretty good that plays there. So they're going to be good. Pius is always good. I just like to not get 10 run by Pius this year. That's my goal, to not get 10 runs. And Zach, even though Zach left Herky, he left it in good hands, and they got a good program. And at Crystal, there's always an Eisenbeis. That no matter what sport it is, there's always an Eisenbeis at Crystal playing. Yep. So you never know what they're going to have there. So we just want to be able to compete. I mean, I told the boys we want to try to compete and hopefully win some games. And it's kind of, if you win one game, then you win two, then that's called a winning streak, and we want to keep going after that.
We used that last night on the coach's box.
That's right. That's the old the great quote there. That's that'll be fun. I can't wait to obviously I can't wait for this weather to turn. I can't wait to get out and see some baseball. Ray, do you have any questions for these gentlemen you'd like to throw at them?
Oh Lordy, you put me on the spot. Obviously you've talked a lot about the rust and things like that. On a personal level, and I know this is a personal question, you're not supposed to ask those questions to any coach, but has there been much concern, with the COVID, with last year not having the season at all? Have you guys had to take any extra precautions, safety-wise? Obviously the mask things and all that fun stuff, but I'm talking more to keep from injuries. That's my question, and I'll start with Coach Ketcherside.
No, the injuries part. I mean, we're behind on bullpens on the pitch count, checking them where I think I should be, right, from last year or the year before, and that has to do with them not throwing last year, a lot of them not throwing much. And with COVID coming, not being able to do a whole lot of stuff in the off season as much as I would normally maybe.
Right.
And it's so that's the main thing. To me, the arms aren't where I would like them to be as far as the pitchers, but you just luckily, like I said, I got more pitchers I think this year than I have in the past, so it's going to be where it's one of them deals where I think it's kind of like the Tampa Bay thing where you might have three pitchers through a game. You might have a starter, then his reliever, then his reliever, or something. Maybe something like that. So
and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, you're going to have to watch a pitch count a lot more tighter, and then so that's about the only thing really different as far as that goes. Besides the other stuff, mask and wiping down stuff, stuff like that is.
The routine norm right now, for the temporarily routine norm, I should say. I hope it stays temporary, But Coach Beasting, how about you?
Yeah, we're trying to do best we can precaution-wise, and it seems like, we had a freshman about 30 seconds into day one that had to leave practice.
Oh, man.
And, kind of looked around at our rest of our coaching staff. I'm like, this is not how this is going to start. But luckily, that was the, only instance that we had, and we talked to our guys just of doing their best to avoid any situation that can make it questionable. And, that's tough because, in school and things like that, but – we've really talked about, most of the stuff we can't control. And we can do our best at practice, tell guys, the distance or whatever else. When we're outside, it's not that big of a deal. But, these inside practices we've had to kind of remind, hey, make sure your mask is on, and kind of space yourselves out as best you can. But it seems like in the end, if it's going to happen, it's really nothing that we're going to do is going to prevent it from happening. And we just have to roll with it. And we talked with our younger guys, hey, you may get thrust into a situation that you're not ready for, but you better be ready to go. So.
Right. Good answer there. Thanks for putting me on the spot here, Jeff, by the way. So, Coach Lucas.
I think just, we kept more, we got bigger numbers this year than kind of typical with 18 guys, but you just never know what can happen in the middle of the year. And so I think just trying to make sure that everybody's ready, every game because – right before you go to start a game, something could happen. They could come get a kid, and he could have to go home. And so just that type of stuff, making sure that everybody's ready, everybody's getting the reps to where they can step in at any time. And so, we've tried to, I guess, in the cages inside, we're trying to work in just, pairs, try to make as many stations as we can to keeping only two people at a station instead of having 3 or 4 at a station to where they're, that close to each other. But that's worked out pretty well, just trying to, keep them separated as much as possible. And then just trying to talk to them about, at the lunch table, I think is where it seems like a lot of people get caught. And so, and then I guess on the buses would be another opportunity for them. And so it's weird that we have to talk about it every day, but,
right.
It is the new norm that hopefully we can get past it and move on with everything, with our everyday life.
Agreed. Coach Oliver, how about you, sir?
Well, I mean, I had to deal with it in the fall. So, I don't know if these other guys had to deal with it too much in the fall, but we did, and it's, it's pretty much the same kids. So we've just kind of reemphasized, like they've said, and we didn't try to keep more than we have in the past, but we ended up with more kids. We got like 29 kids out, 9 through 12, and that's a lot. And trying to get through everything, and then keep them separated and spaced out, is another thing. And then water bottles and
right.
And all that good stuff. And I don't care how tired, thirsty you think you are. Don't be switching bottles with anybody and all that kind of stuff. And and they're kids, and they're just used to doing those things. But like you said, any day you could get that call, and your lineup changes significantly because of it. So
right.
I guess that's just we're just going to have to adjust and get through. But hopefully we're getting on the other side of it a little bit. Hopefully the numbers are going to continue to stay the way they are and get better. But
right.
Nobody knows, I guess.
Right. Real quick question, and I don't know if everybody knows or anybody even has an answer for this, but are there any, I guess, restrictions that has come down on you guys for games yet, as far as and I wanted to get that out for the parents and for parents and fans that want to come out to the games. Can they come out to the games?
I was kind of told at the parent meeting to tell them 2 per, try 2 per. Per player, mm-hmm. And I told JD if I get 2 per player, I'm going to have more fans than I've ever had. So,
well,
good deal.
But I mean, in a baseball game, I think they could be able to show social distance pretty easy. Talked about bus course mask, on the bus, and maybe if not all the kids in the dugout, maybe spread them out along the outfield side mm-hmm. Fence, but. We'll see. I mean, one thing I did as far as the water thing, I've never done before, I ordered a Gatorade pack, so every kid has their own Gatorade bottle with their name and number on it. And I just hope my kids are smart enough to remember their name and number. But
yeah,
who's on first, right? I get you. I get it. Any of the other coaches here, got any kind of information that you guys have been given? I know games have kind of started, or at least they were going to try to start. They were supposed to start some games tomorrow, and looks like obviously with the rain out there and the amount of rain we've got in the last few days, that's probably going to put a little damper on that.
Yeah,
I mean the tournament we were in, they said anybody can go. It's outside, social distance, and all that. And then in the dugout, they asked the kids wear a mask, and then that was pretty much it. And we haven't heard anything else. To that point to change any of that. So
we were told that we're not going to limit the number for baseball, and I know our athletic director sent an email that was from DeSoto that I think that the baseball and I think some of the other outdoor sports, I think track was one they were limiting things because there could be so many, but I think it sounded like most of the conference I think was trying to, at least the larger school conference was trying to no restrictions other than wear a mask in, I think is what Hillsboro's doing. Wear a mask in and then distance the best you can.
Being that we're outside, I think that helps, kind of helps damper that the chance of contracting anything. So I think that'll help. So, Jeff Widener, you have any final thoughts?
Just one final thought. Well, 2 final thoughts. For one thing, I hope that when we're sitting here next year about this time previewing the 2022 season that we don't have to talk about masks or COVID or any of that other crap. That was one final thought. The other thing, just one quick question, guys, just off the top of your head. And I know it's hard to single guys out because, in baseball, we don't have captains or anything. But tell me 1 or 2 guys that on your roster you're going to look for as a leader? If you had team captains, who would they be this year or so going into the season, Coach Oliver?
Well, I think Austin Almany, even last year as a sophomore, just kind of proved himself being the catcher, kind of running the defense and talking to everybody, out there. Has kind of established himself as being one of our leaders. But, I mean, our seniors have taken up that role as well, and especially some of the ones that have, been playing 253, Xander and, Mike Bollinger and, those guys, Grant Engelskin. They've taken that on too. But I would say if we had a guy that probably takes on all the responsibilities and stuff, it's probably Austin.
Got to go with the catcher as the field general. I appreciate that answer. Yeah, Coach Lucas, how about you?
For me, I'd say Zach Whaley. He's a kid that he's a center fielder for us. And he's a big basketball player, so he's kind of been out there, been able to be a floor general on the basketball court. And so right now, every time I need something, I can kind of talk to him, and then he'll kind of let me know what he thinks, or he'll take care of whatever I need it. And so I think Zach's the one this year that I'll lean on. Noah Schumann's another kid that I can lean on and stuff that could help lead things. He's gonna be a shortstop for us, and he's another senior, and so those would be the top two for us, I would say.
And of course, Zach Whaley, one of our Main Street Sports standouts for the basketball season. So appreciate you mentioning him once again there. Coach Beesting, who are you going to look at on the field as kind of your captains out there?
Levi Fisher is that guy. He's the voice you hear at practice every day. He's the guy that starts our day off. When we break to get into whatever we're going, it's his voice. It's the first one you hear and usually the last one you hear at the end of the day. He's our center fielder too, which kind of helps, and he's going to be one of our top arms. So I looked in to be a leader, and at the same time, I got Nick Krodinger, who's been there with us since he's a freshman. So tenure-wise, he's been probably one of the most experienced guys, and he's taken on a leadership role in practice as well. So those are probably the top two names that come right off the top of my head.
Now, those are excellent choices as well. Seeing both of those guys play before. Coach, catcher side, who do you have over there at Grandview that's going to be your field generals?
Chase Wilson.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, I'm a little different. I actually named two. I always name two team captains every year, and actually Chase is one of them.
All right.
Chase is one, and a senior, Alex Massey, who was the one I said that went through two reconstructed knee surgeries, couldn't play football his senior year, so he really works hard. He's got something to, it's hard when you don't get to play sports you want, and all of a sudden you're at the end of your senior year, so baseball is, But I also tell the other ones, the older kids, just because you're not a team per se named team captain, you still got to lead by example,
right?
And the small younger kids, because with the Grandview Small, we got freshmen and sophomores and that practice all together. We all practice together, so they look up to you. So you got to, even though you might not be the team captain, you got to show some responsibility and lead.
Right. It's good. It's good.
Well, I appreciate those answers, gentlemen, and we certainly appreciate you coming out on a rainy day today. Coming out here and previewing the season and talking about your teams with us. I could talk baseball all day long, but I know we need to get out of here, Ray. Yep. But thank you, guys, and thank you for wearing all your awesome team gear today.
Yeah,
too.
right. You guys show that off, right?
They look really good, don't they, Ray?
Yeah, good looking. Good looking. You want to throw some extras at Livestream STL, feel free to do so. Just kidding. No. But on our way out here, before we take out of here real quick, we'll let you know what's kind of going on. We've had some people ask tonight, when's the schedule coming out for the broadcast? It's coming out tonight after I get home. We're not going to do a show for it. I'm even throwing this on Jeff, so this isn't even news to Jeff. So, Jeff, sorry, we're not going to do a show for it, but we're just going to release it. I have half of it on our website as well. You'll be able to access, I guess if you want to call it a way to get in, because we're not going to be putting any of our games on on social media. It'll be all on our website. So we've got everything fixed. We literally got it fixed yesterday, and so that's kind of how that goes. So it's going to be
news, right?
Yeah, it's kind of breaking news, I guess, if you want to call it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But, so look for the schedule a little bit later tonight, and we'll have all of the each individual game on our website. Go to, and I'll throw it up here real quick. Let me find it. Where did my website go? Lordy. Where did my website? There it is. No, it's not. Well, I guess my website's not on here yet. It's livestreamstl.tkdssports.com. So there it is. Check that out, and we will have that up there literally tonight for the broadcast. Again, next for I guess through the week, this week and next week, we'll also have some more Main Street Sports snippets. We're going to have some other coaches on from time to time. I know some of our coaches, they're not able to meet when we can meet, so we're gonna meet when they can meet when it comes time. Probably as early as Sunday. I've got a couple of coaches that have just gotten a hold of me, literally by text message during the show here, and we'll have that. We'll have some of those Main Street Sports extras, if you will. We'll catch up with coaches that we haven't been able to catch up with at this point. And then next week we'll have the High School Sports Caravan with Jim Powers. It'll be a brand new show that we've got going on Tuesday. We'll be live from River's Edge up in South City. So check that out. That'll be at 7 o'clock Tuesday, I believe that's correct, the 23rd. And then always, as always, we had Coach Chris Miller behind me, but now I got to look at Eddie Marino back here instead. Eddie, how's it going? But check the coaches box out as well. It'll be our 1-year anniversary. We'll be live from Coach Jason Jarvis's house.
Lord.
Where we started. I know everybody's saying Lordy, right? Exactly.
Heaven help us.
Exactly. So check that out. That'll be, I think we're going to do that at 7 o'clock. So I'm not sure if we have that nailed down, but 7 or 8 o'clock Wednesday. So for all of us here at Livestream STL, Jeff, appreciate it. Done a great job. And coaches, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
we're going to say so long. Have a great evening. We will see you down the road.